Hello, this is Aman Kushwaha, and this is my presentation about case study of Windows. There are various versions of Windows operating system available through time. So how Windows got evolved through time, we are going to talk about it, and also some of the contemporary OS like Linux and Mac OS. So Windows operating system. Microsoft Windows is a group of several graphical operating system families, all of which are developed, marketed, and sold by Microsoft Office. And Microsoft introduced an operating environment named Windows on November 20th, 1985 as a graphical operating system shell for MS-DOS. In response for the growing interest in graphical user interface, Microsoft Windows came to dominate the world's personal computer market with over 90% of market share, overtaking macOS, which had been introduced in 1984. The various versions of Windows are listed in the next slide. So Windows 1.0, let's say this is where it's all started for Windows. The original Windows 1 was released in November 1985 and was Microsoft's first true attempt at a graphical user interface in 16-bit. Developed and its development was spearheaded by Microsoft founder Bill Gates and ran on the top of MS-DOS, which relied on command line input. Okay, so after 2 years, the release of Windows 1, Microsoft's Windows 2 replaced it in December 1987. The big innovation for Windows 2 was that Windows could overlap each other and also introduce the ability to minimize and maximize windows instead of iconizing or zooming. The control panel where various system settings and configuration options were collected together in one place, was introduced in Windows 2 and survives to this day. Microsoft Word and Excel also made their first appearances running on Windows. So here is let's talk about Windows 3.x. So there are Windows 3.0, a graphical environment in the third major release of Microsoft Windows, and was released on May 22nd, 1990. Microsoft released this short-lived version of Windows 3.0. It came with lots of improvement, but also with a lack of multimedia and network feature, which made Windows 3.0 be replaced quickly by Windows 3.1. So the improvement of the appearance of the interface in Windows 3.1 was big. True color display ability makes it much fancier than this early version and also makes it ready for photo editing. Windows XP was a major milestone in Windows and Microsoft. It's introduced the Windows anti-kernel to the consumer market for the first time, and NTFS was first brought into the customer base in Windows XP. It was the first version to have both home and professional edition. Windows XP was a major overhaul to Microsoft's mindset towards operating system, branding and manufacturing, as well as a major overhaul to design. Support ended on April 14th, 2009, with extended support ending on April 8th, 2014. Windows XP was the first consumer edition of Windows not to be based on MS-DOS. So, Windows Vista is an operating system by Microsoft for use on personal computer, including home and business desktop, laptop, tablet, PC, and media center PCs. Development was completed on 8 November 2006, and over the following 3 months, it was released in stages to computer hardware and software manufacturers, business customers, and retail channel channels on 30 January 2007. It was released worldwide. New features of Windows Vista include an updated graphical user interface, a search component called Windows Search, redesigned networking, audio, print, and display subsystem, and new multimedia tools such as Windows DVD Maker. Windows is a personal computer operating system developed by Microsoft. Windows 7 was released to manufacturing on July 22, 2009 and became generally available on October 22, 2009, less than 3 years after the release of its predecessor, Windows Vista. Windows 7 was primarily intended to be as an incremental upgrade to the operating system, intended to address Windows Vista's poor critical reception while maintaining hardware and software compatibility. Windows 7 continued improvements on Windows Aero, the user interface introduced in Windows Vista. The addition of the redesigned taskbar that allows application to be pinned to it, and the new window management feature. Okay, the Windows 8. Released in October 2012, Windows 8 was Microsoft's most radical overhaul of the Windows interface, ditching the Start button and Start menu in favor of a more touch-friendly Start screen. The new title interface saw programs icon and live tiles with display at a glance. Information normally associated with widgets replaced the list of programs and icons. A desktop was still included, which resembled Windows 7. Okay, Windows 10. Windows 10 is the computer operating system by Microsoft as a part of its Windows family of operating system. It was known as Threshold when it began being developed and announced at a press event on 30 September 2014. It came out of PCs on July 29, 2015. Windows 10 is designed to provide a common, universal user interface between desktop, laptop, and all-in-one PCs, tablet and computers, and smartphones and embedded systems. The Windows user interface was revised to handle transition between a mouse-oriented interface and a touch-screen optimized interface based on available output devices, particularly on 2-in-1 PCs. Both interfaces include an updated Start menu, which incorporates elements of Windows 7's traditional Start menu with the tiles of Windows 8. So let's talk about some contemporary operating system. The common contemporary OSs include Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. So Linux. Linux, also known as GNU Linux, is the most prominent example of free software and open source development, which means that typically all underlying source code can be freely modified and used and redistributed by anyone. The name Linux comes from the Linux kernel started in 1991 by Linus Torvalds. The system utilities and library usually come from the GNU operating system, which is why it is also known as GNU Linux. Linux is predominantly known for its use in server. It is also used in operating system for a wide variety of computer hardware, including desktop computers, supercomputers, video games, and embedded devices such as mobile phone and router. Linux is modular, Unix-like OS. It derives much of its basic design from principles established in Unix during the 1970s and 1980s. A Linux system usually provides a CLI of some sort of throws a shell. Linux distros for server might only use a CLI command line interface and nothing else, Most low-level Linux components use CLI exclusively. The CLI is a part of suited for automation of repetitive or delayed tasks and provides very simple inter-process communication. A graphical terminal is often used to access the CLI from a Linux desktop. Let's talk about Mac OS X. OS X is the major operating system that is created by an Apple. Unlike its predecessor, referred to as Classic or OS 9, OS X is a Unix-based operating system. Currently, OS X is in version 10.5, with 10.5.3 being the latest major software update and plans for 10.6 having been announced. Apple has chosen to name the version of OS X after a large cat, with 10.0 being Cheetah, and 10.1 as Puma, and 10.2 as a Jaguar, and 10.3 as Panther, and 10.4 as Tiger, 10.5 as Leopard, and the unleashed 10.6 named Snow Leopard. Apple also developed a server OS X that is very similar to the normal OS X, but is designed to work on an Apple X server hardware. Some of the tools include the server OS X, our workgroup management and administration software that provides simplified access to common network services, including a mail transfer agent, a Samba server, an LDAP server, a domain name server, a graphical interface for distributed computing which Apple calls Grid Admin, and others. OS X is a Unix-based OS built on top of the XMU kernel with standard facilities available from the CLI. Apple has layered a number of components over the space, including their own GUI. The most notable feature of their GUI are the dock and the finder. OS X is the most secure OS than Windows, just like Linux. Rather than Linux, however, OS X is a closed OS. The latest version of OS X, 10.5 Leopard, was designed to add a lot more feature. The next version of OS X will focus more on functionality than cool features. And thank you very much to see my presentation, and I hope you will have a nice day.